All right, so I'm going to ask you questions about this article that I read.
Okay.
So a doctor diagnosed a patient with acute leukemia. The doctor explained treatments and the options she had. She decided that she didn't want any of the treatment and she wanted to go home to be with her family. They talked extensively over the next few days, and she made it clear she didn't want to go undergo chemotherapy. She had a remarkable grasp on the options and the implications. It was extremely important to the patient to maintain control of herself and her own dignity. And then when the time came, she wanted to take her own life in the least painful way possible. The doctor feared the effects of a violent death on her family and the consequences of an ineffective suicide. So he told the patient information was available from the Hemlock Society that might be useful to her. Later, the patient requested barbiturates for sleep. The doctor made sure she knew how to use the drugs for sleep and also the amount needed to commit suicide. Over the next several months, she spent time with her family and friends and said her final goodbyes. She asked her husband and son to leave her alone for an hour. They later found her peacefully dead on the couch. The doctor came to their home and called the medical examiner to inform him that a hospice patient had died. He said the cause of death was acute leukemia. He didn't want any mention of suicide to prevent criminal prosecution or professional review, and also to protect the family. He claims he did not assist in her suicide directly, but he helped indirectly make it possible and successful.
Okay.
So, what do you think about this situation?
I think it's a hard situation on both sides, because if I was her, I personally probably would have done the same thing. But because you know how me and you were going into nursing, I don't think I would ever put a doctor in that position knowing that it's illegal for him.
Yeah.
I think I would rather do my own research and go to a country where that is legal and go through the process of doing that. But I guess I don't really know the time frame, so she might not have had the time to do that.
Yeah. What are some ethical dilemmas that stick out to you personally?
So I see mostly like on the doctor side, he's probably struggled between the idea of following the law, which I know you mentioned that it seemed like it was illegal in that country, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, where is it at?
I think it's New England.
Yeah. So he was probably struggling with the idea that he wanted to help this woman not suffer, and he probably could empathize with that, but also it was illegal there. So I think personally, it's his job to remain professional in that situation and give her information to do it legally.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he did that, like, yeah, I mean, on a personal level, I don't really see what he did was wrong, but he could have risked his whole career and, like, potentially could have gotten sued. Or for all he knew, that her family, like, didn't know of her plans and, like, would have figured it out and, like, come after him legally.
Mm-hmm. She talked to her family, so her family
her family
on board.
knew.
Yeah.
All right.
Her family was on board, and the doctor knew that they were on board.
I mean, I probably would have done the same thing in the situation on, like, the patient side, but on the doctor, he probably should have just, like, given her other avenues to do it. Mm-hmm. That wasn't very smart.
Okay.
But I get why he did it, though.
How does it make you feel?
I don't know. I mean, I mostly just feel bad for everybody involved, because that's kind of a tough thing to deal with, because, like, we have so many ways to deal with medical problems like that now, but, like, at a certain point you can only do but so much. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of a way of being able to control your fate, which I think is a great thing, but it has problems with it.
Yeah. How did you come to believe what you do? Was it from just living your life or education, or did you learn it from someone that you respect?
Well, I took ethics last semester, and we, like, our final project was to do, like, a group project on like one thing that we were passionate about, and another group did euthanasia, which is pretty similar to this. It's like the same concept. And they talked about how this woman, she did it legally. She went to a country where you could just like drink a drink and like die, and like the way that they described the process, it seemed really peaceful. And like if I was in that situation, I would want to have the control over how I would die, because that's like the worst part about having a debilitating like condition like that. Like you have no control.
Yeah. Once
And
you
that's the
hit a
scary.
certain
Yeah, that's the
point.
scariest part.
Yeah.
So it's mostly, I would say, probably for my education, because it's not something you think about, especially because we're so young.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think about my death.
Yeah, exactly.
Like sometimes I do, and I'm like, no, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
That's a later problem. But I think if I was in that situation, I would go that route too. If I knew death was coming, obviously.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.